Absolutely. All right, so y'all go on, make it to the city chip game. Going into that game, what was the game plan? Obviously, playing against the teenage phenom of your era, other than Felipe Lopez. Mm-hmm. You got Stephon Marbury. Everybody thinking they're the favorites, and y'all go in there and y'all upset them, and you hold Steph to, I believe, 5 for 24 shooting. I read somewhere. So what was the game plan going into that?
Well, I even touch on the city championship game, but just to take a step back real quick, you know that even when we went to play against Tilden, right? Even when we played them to go to the city championship, we were so dialed in on our own stuff and so focused on our own stuff. We knew that Tilden was a team that beat us, that made us turn our season around. But I really didn't even know who Eddie Cota was like that. It wasn't even like, you know how people be like, oh, there's such and such from over here and such is nice or whatever. Like, we just knew that we needed to get Tilden back. Right. It wasn't even about Ed Cota was super nice and this, that, and the third. We didn't even worry about what other people was doing. So that's how we wasn't even dialed into the fact that he was even an All-American. We knew that he was nice and all that, but we was like, all right, well, we showing up with our briefcase too. Right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, but you know, but with the city championship, that whole thing, the whole week preparing for the city championship, Steph sending all kind of messages back to the school because a lot of the girls and stuff like that went to the school, a lot of the girls was from Brooklyn. Right. So they would come back and they would say, yo, he said this, that, and the third or whatever. But we were so dialed in that we was almost like, it was almost like we was just like in a whole different zone. Nothing was bothering us. We was just so locked in on our goal or whatever that we didn't even let any of that stuff bother with us. Made sure that we was dedicated to that week of practice. Made sure that we showed up focused. Made sure that that nobody got in trouble. Made sure that everybody turned in their work and wasn't ineligible, and so that we can approach that game, you know, full strength. But it was also something before that game where the game almost didn't happen. I don't even know if people even know about that.
You're not talking about the storming of the court for the previous game.
That was crazy.
Go into that if you want to.
That was crazy.
I heard about that.
After everything that we worked for, we got to the point to where me and my man Nard literally, like, we was like salivating to get on the court. We watching the games before us. We was so locked in that we literally sold over 100 tickets for that game, right? But when we was preparing for the game, and while we was, and even after the game, we didn't celebrate at all with nobody. We didn't sit with nobody. We barely sat with our own teammates. Me and my man Nard, we knew what our agenda was. We knew that everything, this was riding on us being the catalyst of getting our guys going, and we was prepared for that moment. But we was watching, and after George Washington, Robeson, who was it? Paul Robeson, Todd Miles hit the game winner. Right. He came down to George Washington, whatever, with the hands up to George Washington. As soon as he came down there with the hands up, one of them crazy dudes just clocked him. Pop! Clocked him right off his feet. Crazy. You see Brooklyn, George Washington, they just going crazy. I'm talking about, we just looking at the game. I mean, we looking at the court and we like, it is absolutely no way that we're playing this game. I'm talking about, it was chairs flying across. We talking about at the Garden, right? I'm talking about minutes before we about to play. We even waited just to see who won the game or whatever. We didn't even go. Everybody else was probably getting dressed. That's probably how we was even the last two there, because we wanted to see how it played out. Because when we won, we wanted to see what we was gonna expect. Right. Wow.